the thing is, Gibraltar does have quite a few sort of momentous things connected to it or happened to it that we don't seem to celebrate or make a lot of, like, the victory coming in and Nelson and John and Yoko getting married and Byron's been here. All sorts of big things have happened in Gibraltar that we kind of just don't seem to big up, which is a tourist thing and something to be proud of as well. And one of the things is the novel Ulysses. And the novel Ulysses, the main female character is called Molly Bloom. And many people will think, oh, that's that pub in Linea.
Which it is.
Yeah, which it is. And there's a reason why their pub is called Molly Bloom and ours isn't, our Irish pub isn't, because they know of the special connection that Molly Bloom has. She's a Janita, in the sense of her father was an Irish guard based in Gibraltar who married a woman from La Linea. Mm-hmm. So she was born and brought up and spent her early years and early teens in Gibraltar. I mean, she's a fictional character.
Sure.
But nonetheless, this is a famous book which people have been following since its publication in the 1920s, and it's on the top 100 must-read before you die books, and it's not just the character. Gibraltar gets a mention all the way through it. Every so often there's a mention about the Alameda Gardens. People may know that there's a Molly Bloom bust in the Alameda Gardens, a statue done by John Searle in the early 2000s. And again, but we don't seem to celebrate it.
And we should.
Well, yeah, the thing was 3 years ago, Linea started celebrating it and people were dressing up in costume and having Irish theme and James Joyce recitals and things like that. Then I found out that the Malaga Literary Society, they think, well, we're just up the road from
close
there.
Enough.
Yeah, and so they know it's so important, so it's like they cash in on it and people actually go there and attend Bloomsday events. I mean, the biggest Bloomsday events are in Dublin, of course.
Yeah, sure.
So, but it's about time that we did something.
Tell us a little bit about how James Joyce, do you know, I think Charles Durante has written about this, how he comes to be writing about Gibraltar and placing Gibraltar in his novel.
We don't really know that because James Joyce never visited Gibraltar, but he describes it very, very well in this novel. And to what we know, he's never met any Gibraltarian, but he must have read things at the time. I mean, James Joyce himself left Dublin and he went to live in Trieste, and he's someone that would have mixed with all sorts of different types of people and talked about different, and he was interested in other nations and then he lived in Switzerland during the First World War. So he's an international type of, and a scholarly person that would have read a lot and made up his characters. I mean, Bram Stoker never went to Transylvania, but he wrote Dracula. You can, a writer's imagination can take them anywhere. But yeah, when I decided that I wanted to do it, it was actually Patrick Saccarello and Charles Durante and others that said, we really need to do something, but what are we going to do? And Patrick Saccarello suggested, why don't we do like a theatrical piece, a sketch outside, up beside the statue in the gardens? And I said, well, that's easier said than done, because whoever writes that needs to read this massive, I don't know if you can see,
it's a tome, isn't it? It's a
huge book. And I said, nobody wants to read that. It's really difficult. It's a really difficult book. You can't just pick it up and read it. And so that's when Charles Durante stepped in and said, well, if you want to do it, I'll tutor you in it. And I said, oh, all right then. And he said, but you've got to do exactly what I tell you to do. So he said, first of all, you've got to buy the edition that I tell you because it's got all the notes. He said, but before you do anything, you have to read the Odyssey by Homer and a certain edition. And you have to be knowledgeable about Hamlet and maybe Don Giovanni and all these other things that come about in this novel, the themes.
There are themes that Joyce builds on from previous authors.
So that's what we did. And then Charles Durante is an expert in Ulysses. He's written this wonderful Ulysses in a nutshell. I mean, it's a coconut shell, not not a pistachio nutshell.
Yeah.
And I've read that. I've read all his notes, and then we've been emailing each other, and then we've had these tutorials, and it's been absolutely fantastic. And then I sit in front of him. We always meet in the Royal Galbe, and then he just stares at me and says, "Right, what do you think about this? And what was the symbolism there?" And so I've really delved
a bit like
into
being back at school.
Very much like being back at school, but sort of like if I was someone in at Oxford with a private tutor, not having to share the teacher with anybody. Very top-notch, first-class tutorship, and really makes you use your brain. So what I've done, I've completed it, and now I'm going to write a sketch. But I'm not going to write a potted history of the book. I want to write something that's brings out the Gibraltar and the fact that loads of people don't know.
Emphasise the local.
That they don't know about the character, and there's lots based here because most people. I mean, Robin has just said it to me today. I didn't know that, so I want whoever watches the sketch to. If you know about Ulysses, you'll get all the references. But if you don't know, you're just watching something that will teach you about this book and about its connection with Gibraltar and be fun, because it is a fun book. It's like a romp through Dublin, and it's quite racy because it was banned. They wouldn't print it in places. So it's a cracking good read. But you need not everyone's got Charlie Durante on side.
Yeah, or the hours and days needed to get through it. We're talking to Rebecca Calderon, who's planning Bloomsday or planning to celebrate Bloomsday in Gibraltar, June the 16th. It celebrates James Joyce's book Ulysses and his main female character, Molly Bloom, a Gibraltarian whose mother is from Linea and father is an Irish soldier. Of course, James Joyce, Irish himself. Molly grew up in Gibraltar, and you are going to celebrate those links in a theatrical performance on the 16th of June at the Alameda Gardens.
Yes.
And you're looking to build on that and sort of...
Well, it'll be a free event that I want people to come to, and I'll market it nearer the time. But I do need some actors. And everyone's busy and nobody can do Irish accents, is what I found out so far. I need people, or Irish people. Are there any Irish actors out there that, you don't have to be Laurence Olivier. You can just, it's fun. It's Irish. It's lyrical. I've got a couple of musicians on board already, but if you happen to play the fiddle or you can sing a decent Irish song, you'll get a free glass of Guinness and maybe a boater hat, because after we've done the theatrical performance, we've arranged with the Rock Hotel for us all to walk up to the Rock and then carry on the celebrations around the piano at the Rock Hotel. And people I've got local poets, Giordano Durante, Jackie Anderson, Barbara Durante, Charles Durante, people that are going to read bits of Joyce that they want, anyone. If you want to come and read a bit of Ulysses, or you can... you'll be fueled by a glass or two of Guinness or, porter, and it'll be great fun. And my main thing is to start off small, and then hopefully every year there might be Bloomsday events in some of the bars in Gibraltar, little things like that. It's fun, music, poetry. And that's what I want this to be, the first of a 16th of June celebration every year.
Well, we look forward to it. We wish you the best of luck, and we hope that there is a response to that call out for actors or contributors generally to celebrating Bloomsday, the life of Irish writer James Joyce, on June the 16th. Rebecca Calderon, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.